Welcome to Feminized. It's time for a show that turns the spotlight on the powerful women shaping cannabis culture. The cannabis industry is on fire and women are sparking it up. If you like the show, please subscribe. You can also subscribe to the Feminized podcast with Liz Grow on YouTube and Instagram. The future is feminized. Hey sis. You're now listening to the Feminized podcast. I am so thrilled to introduce you to my next guest. On today's podcast, I have the legendary, the iconic AC Moon. Okay. And if you know, you know. If you've heard that name, you're like, oh, all right. And you're turning it up and you're giving it a listen. If you don't know that name, you're like, oh, who? What? And then you dig a few layers and then you know, holy shit. AC Moon has 20 years experience in cannabis and in all sorts of ways, not to mention that she is a master grower. But she now shares that wisdom and experience with those hoping to find her level of success with her company, consulting company, Indica Innovations International. AC, welcome to Feminize. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks so much, Liz. I'm so glad to be here. It's really cool to interact with all of you down there in the good old South.
Yes.
It's not common, and I'm only seeing the Texans enter in the most recent years. So I'm really excited to see what you guys got going on.
Yes, God, that makes me so it's thrilling to hear, but it's also like, oh man, because of course Texans have been growing cannabis for ages. It's not didn't just happen overnight. But it's just so hidden, it's so underground. Your freedom can be ripped from you if you are growing cannabis illegally in the state. So you will go to jail and you can spend years in jail.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, I appreciate you, just kind of giving props to Texas growers, because they are putting their freedom on the line. And I'm just really, I feel like that's kind of part of the job that I do and the way that I serve this plant is to just kind of be the media people. Like, hey, we don't grow, even though we wish we did. We don't, but you know what? We can give growers platforms to talk.
Well,
And
that's awesome.
yeah. So AC, where can you just give me your life story? Is that too much to ask?
You guys don't have enough time on your situation here for me to give you that, but I'll give you a little overview real quick because I know that people, if you Google me, you can find some information. And I really like to, have unique conversations with everybody. I don't want to bore you with all the details. But I am a old school grower. I started growing back in high school after dealing with many years of my mom with cancer. And so we're out in the Nevada County Humboldt Mountains in California and started cultivating, going to college, doing everything I could while raising my son out in the middle of nowhere. Started my first company, Harvest Moon Munchie Company, in 2001 after hustling my ass off. And so while going to college, I started making infusions and edibles for patients in the San Francisco Bay Area and then later in the Los Angeles basin. Started going to school for environmental horticulture and lots and lots of schooling and lots of college and lots of real life, street learning. You can't gain the amount of knowledge you gain from the streets. You really can't. And so I was working as owning my own dispensary and working with many other dispensaries to fulfill the patient's needs throughout California, and was a legal proprietor of that. When later on I moved to the Emerald Triangle, we dealt with some federal raids and some massive persecution on a really gnarly level where not only it was just watching our back and worrying about the hoods and the legalities of things, but they were air bombing into our places, dropping in helicopters, trapping growers into the woods and putting our livelihoods and everybody's livelihoods pretty much at risk 24/7. And the way that it it hammered down on our kids and our community and the elders, and everything was far beyond, because it's communities of poverty that normally have been the cannabis growers in NorCal
Right.
that actually, have either gained traction or not. And that's a lot true for many places. Farmers normally aren't rich people.
Yeah.
They're living on their wages, they're living from day to day. And so nowadays we got a lot of hype about that entry and the whole, oh, we're all gonna get rich on the green rush thing. But really it's been about the struggle. So after dealing with lots of raids and working very much in things that I don't completely publish on, platforms because it's still not federally legal. So we like to keep ourselves, a little discreet and but there has been just a huge amount of persecution. And my own partner went to prison, federal state penitentiary for 24 plants. And so I was fortunate enough that I got out and left the country and had to deal with, facing indictment and things like that. But there's a lot of these types of things still going on. And so one of the entities that I write for was raided by the federal government for a hot crop just 2 years ago, and they firebombed their house where children live and everything else just because it was 3/10 over the limit of hemp. So the federal government is still indicting and being indicative of these persecutional ways, which stimulates a society that's still fearful. So I took my life savings, and after having lived on a 40-acre garden out in the middle of the woods while we're doing everything all over the place in the Emerald Triangle.
And that's where the raid was the Emerald Triangle?
It's Northern California. I don't say in specifics because there was 3 different ones in 3 different counties that I had property in. And these counties were all within the Emerald Triangle, and one towards Tahoe in the Nevada County Basin. And so these were places where we have a lot of red influence still, that I really am more of a conservative type, but at the same time, because of these types of persecutions, I kept myself neutral in any sort of political diplomacy, only advocating for the plant. And advocating for the freedom for people to just make the choice and not be like stuck behind it. Because I own guns, I don't worry about any of that stuff. The cops all took our guns, the cops all took our livelihood, they took everything, and we were following what was the state law at the time. So I started inventing. I took some of my ideas. I would sit out in my garden and come up with anything I possibly could in order to be like creative, to save my weed, to make my weed better, and building greenhouses out of crazy structures and anything I could. And so I ended up coming up with Crop Tops greenhouses. And
Crop Tops greenhouses.
Yeah, Crop Tops.
I love that name. And do you have a crop top that says that?
I do. I need to make some new ones, and I'll send you some. And so Crop Tops.
This episode is sponsored by Crop Tops greenhouses.
Oh yeah, absolutely. With the O's right appropriately placed. Oh, absolutely. And so I started pirating concepts from things around me. They say that necessity is the mother of all invention, and that was really true up in NorCal, like growing at 4,000 feet elevation in really remote areas. And so I pirated the concept of an umbrella, and I created a greenhouse out of it. And so it's an instant pop-up portable greenhouse that protects plants from storms, which creates a higher grade terp profile as well as a higher grade flower in general, and also gets used as like pesticide control, an isolation chamber for cloning, and like all sorts of stuff. My son's even worked on his motorcycle underneath it, so it's always entertaining to see like what people use it for. And so I filed for my first patent and started learning about trademarks and intellectual property copywriting. Later on, got into genetic breeding and intellectual property within genetics, and keeping my own strains for about 20 years. I had the goo, which is only known in clone form and not found in seed form up in NorCal. And the goo is a high yield Afghani strain that is extremely potent THC with CBN effects and different terps that are not found in many places. So I've kept some of these legendary strains alive. And most recently, I started working with Steve Cubby, who has patented genetics that is of a tropical breed that it's really fun to work with patented genetics because you get to do a lot of the research and development and watch it climatize and kind of mutate depending on the situation and get to learn about that. So then I started working internationally as a cannabis consultant, helping different countries in the Asian, the Orient, the Caribbean, and a few places like Bermuda and things like that, and helping to create their medical marijuana laws and so cannabis cultivation businesses. Did some consulting, down in the Caribbean was probably the most recent. Again, I have been in the United States now for about 10 months working on my kids' book, which is almost done, as well as a 3D animation called Bud Town, which I really love. And I continue educating myself right now. I'm testing out for ISO Assessor, which is an International Standards of Operations, which helped me enable my clients and the people around me to hit international standards so that we are prepared for hemp and cannabis to become an international commodity.
Yes.
And so still hustle, still grow, do everything I can to get by and help my community and stay collectively empowering myself and others, keep learning, keep doing everything I can. So yeah, I think there's probably other things, but that's about the basis of
it. Sister, I think we should have a smoke to that. I don't know if you brought anything to smoke, but I just am so grateful for the work that you've done. And, obviously the way you've done it, your reputation precedes you. I think it's just really awesome. And it goes to show that the women in this industry are so powerful and go so deep. You are clearly, one who has gone so deep and made cannabis, your life's mission, and, the proliferation of the plant. And
yes.
right. I mean, it's just so dope. And I'm just so grateful for that. And
well, thank you very much, girl. Yeah. I appreciate that support. I think the women and everybody need to support each other even more. The industry at times gets shattered because of too much commerce, and it's important we all support each other.
It is. Thank you. It is. And it's like, we can't just say we do it. We just have to do it. Like, we have to take ourselves seriously enough to do it. And I think that's what it comes down to, holding ourselves accountable, to treat our fellow ladies the way that we want to be treated, as far as, whether it's promotion or, business or, I don't know, getting leads, things like that. I mean, it's just about helping each other just succeed in life,
Oh, yeah.
And I really hope that Feminized can help do that for women, connecting.
That's fantastic. That's wonderful. I love to see that symbiosis that you're reaching for. That's beautiful.
Yeah. So, okay, AC.
I should have brought a joint in here with me. Oh, goodness.
Sorry, I sent that to you.
Thank you. Oh, I appreciate it.
So you're so, involved in every facet of the industry in every region, across the globe. You could say.
I worked with the Emerald Cup. I didn't even mention the Emerald Cup. Oh yeah, I premiered Crop Tops in 2014 at the Emerald Cup, and took all my licenses, and I'm CGMP, FDA, OMRI, do all the licenses and certifications I have, and started working as a judge for the Emerald Cup. So I always want to rep them too, and anytime that I can to keep our family full circle. And the cannabis competition world, they still lead the space.
Absolutely. I was lucky enough to have Taylor on the show, on the podcast. And
I saw that.
Yeah, and it was so cool. It was before the awards, and it was just awesome getting to know a little bit more about the industry through the work that the Emerald Cup has done to keep the, promotion and to keep the eyes on, you
Oh
know,
yes.
California cannabis, Northern California, you know, NorCal. And we're
Sun-grown, sun-grown, sun-grown. Yes.
sun-grown. So yeah, that's is there a little bit of a lag on your end?
Probably.
No, I'm feeling.
California is notorious for having a lag on all sorts of ends.
Hey, no, there isn't though. There isn't. I need to I'm looking at something else. We're so good. We're so good. Yeah, you know. Tanis, my producer, is like running a whole bunch of things in the background here. And I'm like, I don't know which screen to look at. It's totally cool though. But yeah, got it. Thank you. Sorry.
Luckily, I'm just on the simple laptop here.
Yeah, hey, very cool. Hey, you're looking great. You're looking great. But you know, back to the sun-grown aspect, it's such a beautiful thing to have that first of all, ability in nature, right? In the Emerald Triangle. I mean, it's the most special place, right? Where this
NorCal in general is pretty epic.
Yeah. Agreed. I've never been to the Emerald Triangle, and I'm excited. I feel like it will be the right time when it's the right time. You know, you can't force it.
Right.
And you know, especially if you're like media, you know, I'm always trying to learn. I would always love to get footage of all the things, but it's also, you know, there's so much, it's just steeped in such I don't know,
Culture. We got
culture,
a lot
yeah.
of culture.
Culture and special culture that it's like, I don't know, this scene from Zoolander always comes to my mind when he's like, he brings out a camera and if there's like a tribe who, I don't know, whatever, it's like they don't want me to take their picture because it'll steal their soul. It's like, well, yeah, like you shouldn't take the picture. And that's kind of how it feels when I'm in places like
You're
Northern
like, no, don't
California.
take my soul.
No, I just don't want, I just want to be respectful because it's just so meaningful. And it really does. It matters to me. It's, you know, my life, and being able to speak with, you know, people like Wendy Kornberg about it.
I love Wendy. Wendy's my girl. Full endorsement on that girl.
Yeah. She's just like, yes, she is just a one woman education machine in the sweetest, coolest fucking way.
Absolutely. And her KNF mission is awesome.
Yeah.
Especially
So,
for home grows.
yeah, right. I can't wait to go and experience what she has, you know, that farm. I can't wait. It's gonna be like magical. You won't be able to get me out of there, I feel like.
Yeah.
So one question that I have for you, though, you know so much about the industry, so many facets in the industry. If you could choose one facet that you had to focus on and have your hands in and be a part of, which facet would that be? Because you know, girl, you know.
That I'm not already involved in?
No, I'm saying you have to choose one.
Only one?
I'm sorry, but yes, this is the game.
Of cannabis?
Yes.
Molecular science.
Whoa. Okay, molecular science. Why? Say more about that.
I am intrigued most deeply by the science behind botany and how to be able to convey the message of educating it through like the symbiosis understanding of how the cells work and how things, it's like magic to me. And so like, you know, thinking on molecular levels on how plants do what they're doing and why and how it affects everything and how the whole world is working together is probably the thing that intrigues me the most. And just being able to create random stuff in a conscious way. I really enjoy that. I've just gone to college for far too many things, but I think when I think about what really intrigues me is inventing and plant chemistry. Yeah.
I love that. Okay, good. Yes, I'm patting myself on the back for that question.
Nerd girl. I'm a super nerd girl, and that's why Wendy and all those. I don't know what their educational background, but we all vibe because of that chemistry and that earth science background.
Yes. Wendy is Mother Nature, you know, in such a beautiful, warm way, but in such a scientific way. You know, the regenerative farming is all science It's just ancient science. It's Mother Nature science. That's
Heck
what it
yeah.
feels like to me, somebody who's like,
Well, any form of organic farming is just necessary to pump, and especially in your guys' area of the world. It's
yeah.
important to just convey that message that in home growing or in commercial growing in general, like that our culture won't tolerate anything less than organic and sustainable models. And the more that we have that as the driving force of what is the money making aspects behind cannabis, the more that the new entries and the new states as you gain your footings, it will be more of a game. It will be what we at least gold for, is to have change,
Yeah.
to use it as a catalyst for change. And because I've speak to many different podcasts saying that cannabis is the gateway to the garden. And so it teaches people again to go back to nature, to respect their gardens, to plant their own food, to be curious on why these plants are doing what they're doing, and why does that flower smell with such amazing terpenes. And oh my goodness, isn't terpenes what I'm smelling in a cannabis flower? And then all of a sudden it becomes like this catalyst for all this information.
Yes.
And it's so important to just like bring that all centralized again. But maybe I smoke too much weed.
You smoke the perfect amount, and wow, oh, I'm so glad that you do. So what type of weed, what are you smoking now? What do you like? What are you into right now?
I always smoke organic because that is my jam.
Yeah.
And I think I'm finishing up right now a jar of some homegrown organic wedding cake that I grew. And it's good, but I'm always ready for a change. So doing light deprivations, we always have nice fresh weed come in August and September, and we'll be again harvesting some fresh stuff here coming up all too quickly in October. So it should be a crazy little season here going by real fast because the weather is just as bizarre as it possibly could be in any planet.
So when would it be a good time to go to experience that freshness of the harvest for a consumer girl like me?
It depends on if you're trying to like where you're trying to go.
Well, I'm just, excited about smoking just the best weed in the world. The best, the freshest, by the dopest chicks.
Yeah, well,
Like
NorCal is definitely a good place to start. There's many women that have that, and normally it's around October where all of our harvest is coming in.
It's my birthday.
Oh, that's awesome. Harvest girl. Yeah. I'm a winter baby, so I'm always stuck in the snow.
I'm harvesting.
That's fantastic. Have you grown a plant before?
No, I have not. I have not grown a plant before. Yeah, I've got a fair amount of time spent with growers behind the camera, with hemp farmers and other growers, because that's just what we wanted to focus on as a production company.
Oh, that's awesome.
The people that we want to spend time with. And, it's just like fascinating. So I'm excited to be able to spread the message, the connections. We are from Texas and it's illegal here, but we certainly support home grow and we have a lot of great home growers. And you got to do what you got to do. And so it's just fun being a conduit for information, and
I bet that's I love doing the same thing, but in a global scale, because there's so many different nooks and crannies and different like socio societies that,
yes.
Are going to be breaking these stigmas and breaking these stigma walls. And, the culture behind a fisherman is different than a culture behind a construction worker or somebody in media or a mom. Like everybody has different cultures behind their little niches or profession or home situation. So it will take all of these types of news and things like that in order to break a well-rounded circle into the society so that cannabis can be accepted as an alternative against alcohol and other drugs. Yeah, definitely.
Well said. I mean, I could not have said it better myself, you know. And it's funny because this virtual set, oh my God, we love it so much. But it's slowly but surely there are things that, you know, we have to change about it. You know, this is just kind of the like stock, like out of the box, but we're gonna have to, you know, program in. I mean, we're literally making this virtual world. It's really, really dope. And I'm
Yeah,
super.
I've seen how the technology has been really fun, the way that we can implicate it and everything.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's fun. And so it's like I'm gonna be in a clamshell next week or whatever. But this is, you know, this is the office and it's cool. I like it. But there are things we're gonna change about it. And looking kind of familiar is it's key. It's key to reaching a more general audience, and that is Texas and Texans.
Right.
You know, we've been kept from this information for a very long time, and so I often feel just I every day I feel grateful that I can be a messenger of the information. And also like Texas women, like we love other strong women, you know. I feel like because I'm a Texas woman and I know some strong women, and so I'm like, hey, wait a minute, I need y'all to see this girl, I need y'all to visit, I need y'all to meet her,
That's
you know.
awesome.
And that's it, like this is it. It's like wow. And so it just slowly but surely it builds these like just brain explosions, and then they start voting and they start getting their husbands sheriffs to stop arresting, and that really happens, like it really happens. So I'm really grateful that you know you're here and sharing your story and just sharing really who you are and what you are about, you know.
Heck yeah, thanks for having me, Liz. It's good
Yeah.
to get to know a Texan lady and see how we
Hell
do
yeah.
it.
Hell
The
yeah.
west to the south, the west to the south. Yeah.
That's right. I don't even know what that is. You know, I don't know. I don't
It's
horse.
whipping the industry into shape. That's what that is.
Yeah, I'm spanking the industry. Okay, so before I let you go, AC, you have got to go through the feminized three. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
I don't even know why I try to make it like sound scary. It's not scary. But
Dun dun dun. Ba-da-da. Drum roll, please.
yes, the feminized three. But I'd love to know the answers to your questions. I ask all of my guests the same three questions. One day there will certainly be a montage, but not today. But I really do. I want to know. So, first question is drum roll. No, tell me who is in your dream smoke circle? Three people, dead or alive, fact or
Nikola
fiction.
Tesla. He is
Wait,
my like ultimate like inventor that I really want to be able to hold. He's yeah, if I was Christian, that's my equivalent of a god because right there, that was somebody that like from the basis of his beginning of being an innovator, he was able to change the world even in ways that he wasn't acknowledged for. And
yes.
he
Eh,
is huge to me. And then I would probably enjoy, ah, gosh, dang it. Oh, that's a hard one on the rest of that. I'll go with you know, I personally know Tommy and he's pretty cool, but I think that I would, oh man, I'm gonna go draw a blank on this. I'm gonna go with like Puff the Magic Dragon because he lives by the sea and he's like super fun to hang out with, and I'm down with him.
Okay, so
And
Imagine Dragon is number two.
yes, well,
Okay.
Puff the Magic Dragon, not Imagine Dragons.
Oh,
Oh, wait, I can go into musicians? All right.
anybody you want. Anybody
All
you want.
right. I'm going to smoke
But
with Dirty
Puff. I
Heads.
like Puff. So it's Nikolai, it's Puff, and it's you get a third. You even get a third.
I'm going to definitely smoke with the like Dirty Heads. I know
Dirty.
you don't know who that band is. I would go with, oh no, let's go ahead and go as far back as Chuck Berry, because man, yeah, the African American culture back then had some amazing weed and some amazing good times with the Lindy Hop and the Foxtrot when they're swinging women all over the place and jazzing it up, and I love it. I'm like,
oh yeah, take me back, fucking take me back there. What was the weed like? Oh my God, probably so good.
Probably crud compared to what we have now, but it was amazing at the time,
exactly.
and that's all that matters.
exactly. Oh, okay. I love the smoke circle. Beautiful. So question number 2, my darling, is tell me what other woman is really inspiring you right now in cannabis.
In cannabis?
In cannabis. You have to give another lady a shout out. Is really the idea.
Okay, in cannabis.
In cannabis, who works in weed.
And it can be ancillary as well.
No, it can be yes. It can be yes. There's no wrong answers here.
Oh, goodness gracious.
There's a lot of women.
Who is driving for something? I mean, we'll just pull it back around to Wendy Kortenberg. You know, her family is really the ones that, you know, cultivated it in the beginning, but she took over with good petulance, you know, and really brought in heading storms with her and her partners into, you know, learning from, you know, Chris Trump and other people, and then pushing out information forward. And so I like to support that regenerative model as well. Yeah, I think the only other one I could think of is Monica Laughter, who has worked really hard to oh wait, Monica I love. Yes, I can't negate her because she dealt with a lot. She co-created House of Harlequin, but
oh wow,
Pebbles Trippett. Pebbles Trippett is my girl. And wow. Taylor Blake's my girl too. She's pretty badass. But Pebbles has nothing to do with weed. She just advocates for like the whole world to be the most peaceful, magical place in the whole world. So well, you gotta love that too. So it was hard to nail down one once I thought about it.
Yeah, no, totally. And that's the thing. I love that. I just love this question because no woman stops at one. They're always like, no, you can fit my girlfriend. It's like, that's what we do. Like, no, you have room for one more. It's not just one, it's one more. And that's what we should be doing. And oh, I love your answers. So thank you for that. Okay, so question number 3 is, what advice do you have for 13-year-old AC?
Well, I was living on the streets at that point in time, hustling weed at my local high school. My advice would be grow a lot more weed, girl.
All the weed, girl.
But I think on a more serious note, I would probably tell her to don't worry about shit. This isn't a popularity contest. Nobody cares. Like in the end, this is all about like just being true to yourself and being authentic. And if they don't like it, fuck them. Like because I know who I am, and I'm gonna continue educating and teaching as much as possible in this lifetime, because that's like the purpose of humans being on this planet, is to evolve our species. So cannabis is part of that evolution, and so we need to be allowed to partake in it, like no matter what walk of life we are, or recreational or medicinal.
Amen.
Amen.
Some great advice, sister.
A woman.
AC, so how can people find you? How can other ladies find you, or gents? Because you know you do have a consulting company.
I do, and I'm also single, which always kind of sucks as well. But yeah. I'm at indigoinnovations.com, And you can find me there I offer a free half hour of consulting to anybody that needs to be assessed to see if their project is something that I can help them with and be advantageous and symbiosis to each other. You can also find me just at AC Moon on social media and at AC Moon Cameron on LinkedIn. So you'll see me all over because I try to push out that creative energy because cannabis causes creativity.
Yes, she does. Yes, she does. She sparks it up. So I would love to, I definitely want to meet you in person one day. Are you in Northern California mostly, or are you just kind of all over the place?
I am all over the place, but right around the harvest and the dead times, we always make sure that we're close to the farms, and it's just always a dance around there. But it's always right now a dance around, well, NorCal until October, but then back to Jamaica.
Oh, and then Jamaica after harvest in October?
Yes.
Okay, so let me just point my manifestors to October in Northern California because
that'd be awesome.
It's where it feels like I need to be.
Yeah. We'll bring it into full screen manifestation.
Okay, please come back, AC. You are the best. I'm so glad Francesca. She chose you. When I asked her what other woman in cannabis is inspiring her, she goes, "Oh my God, AC Moon. Oh my God."
Oh, she's such a sweetheart. I love her platform, and the things that they're doing in that state are so cool. What a sweetheart. And I thought about her too, and then I was like, well, how can I affiliate that? I do love the platform that she's committed though, and Francesca's a badass.
She's the best.
Love her. Bless out to all the women in cannabis, because all of us working together are going to create a better planet.
That's right. That's absolutely right. So thank you so much for taking this time, and go get off the grid and go get a bad cell reception and, live your life and be in nature. And think of your friends in the virtual world, okay?
Oh, heck yeah.
Friends stuck in the virtual world. Send me energy from the farm.
Heck yeah. Well, we got this whole thing of weed right here, so we'll be sending it all to you, soon we'll have smell-o-vision, and then I'll just be passing you joints, and you'll be like, that's like terp profile number 4. That's gonna be crazy. So
I can't wait for that. That's my life. That's what I was like meant to do. It really just to smell things, and I'm trying to make myself useful because
oh my goodness,
smell things.
One of my colleagues and the founder of Oaksterdam University, Jeff Jones, he calls it terp burgling. Like every time we want to share terps with each other and it gets stolen, we call it terp burglars.
I am a big terp burglar. I have a nose for it, so
that's fantastic. That's great to meet you. Thanks so much.
Right now, so thank you so much. If you'd like more, subscribe to the Feminize podcast on YouTube. Follow at Feminize with Liz Grow on Instagram. Special thanks to our sponsors Moose Labs and Richard's Rainwater. The Feminize podcast is a Grow House Media production, created by Liz Grow, produced by Patrick Pope and Dennis Rain, with original theme music and audio mixing by Q at Q to King Productions in New Braunfels, Texas.